viewers. It wasn't deliberate, I tell you. The footage is meant to be edited, I tell you. Scenes are spliced together, and long or boring scenes are cut out. All the stations edit footage this way. It wasn't like it was done maliciously or something. It was just a coincidence that particular scene was cut. It wasn't intentional. Or what? You got some proof that I had an ulterior motive for editing that footage? Is this where we're, like, already going to slap him with the fake contract? I see. So you're saying it was a coincidence that the sword-swapping scene was cut. That's right. Glad you got the picture. Coincidence? That's just a little too convenient if you ask me. Ooh, an objection. How cool. It sure packs a lot more punch when you hear it live, which is why I'm recording it. Do that again. I want to get another shot from a different angle. My objection is not for your entertainment. And cut. There. I got some good stuff there. Editing magic tricks is filthy and disrespectful to the skills and experience of the magicians. Yeah, the whole TV magic thing exists in a weird kind of the whole, obviously, if you don't believe in magic, the fun of watching a magic trick is that you allow yourself to be tricked and you go, oh, wow, it really looks like he did it. And if you're especially you don't gain anything by being skeptical of a magic trick because there isn't really any. It's not like anybody is claiming that it's really true. So kind of the fun of it is usually to allow yourself to be fooled. But part of the fun is also trying to figure it out, right? If you figure out what they did, then you go, "Oh, I'm clever. I figured it out." If you watch it on TV, you get to do what we just did and go frame by frame through if you want and go, "Oh, okay, this is what they must have done." So it's kind of like the audience cheating, but I don't think anybody is really okay with the magician cheating in order to get past that, to go, oh, well, I'm performing the trick and it's being recorded and we're just going to airbrush out the the thing. I made the coin disappear and it didn't really disappear. We photoshopped it out. That's at that point it's like, well, what's the point? If the point is to go, oh, I'm impressed that somebody made this look real, then it's really, why put magic on TV at all, basically, is what I'm saying. There's no point, because either one side is cheating or the other side is cheating. Yeah, I've only seen, I think, one episode of Fool Us. I forget which one it was. You didn't see us complaining when you edited that extra 0 onto your 200 mentor roulettes. I've been caught. Is this the part where I break down and mentor roulettes pop out of my head? Sestashes and Praetoriums and Ultima weapons. And then I collapse on the floor and then they take me to jail. Mr. Raytons, filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Whoops, my bad, Judge. And if the defense has an issue, it can point it out during its cross-examination. Alright, so we're slipping through. He says editing exists, editing exists, editing exists, editing exists. Editing exists. And now this is the one.
Hold it!
What other scenes did you cut from the footage? Huh? Oh, no others, I guess. You mean you only edited out the sword-switching trick and nothing else? Don't you think it's too much of a stretch to claim that as mere coincidence? No matter how artificial you find the affair, stranger things have happened on their own. That is, unless you have something with which to prove otherwise, defense. Well, If you have a valid criticism of Mr. Wright's testimony, feel free to counter with evidence. Well, Apollo? It would sure make things easier if we had some. I think the defense team needs to be edited out of this trial. That's what they need. I'll have to clean up this footage later. He's really going to put this on TV, is he? Trying to prove malicious intent is tough. All he has to do is say it was a coincidence. We'll need to find some kind of foothold if we want to make any progress. True, but this guy doesn't seem like the type to slip up. So we'll just have to get the information out of him bit by bit. Alright, back to part 5. The way they were saying bit by bit, am I not just going to say, hey, look, you... So this is showing... If through the fault of the second party, the show must be canceled. So he's... Now, that wouldn't have anything to do with editing the footage, though, would it? What case is this? Yeah, this is case 2. There's also this, like, we'll present this at some point, I guess, that the clipboard which he used has a secret compartment with carbon paper so that he can put people's signatures on other documents, which is, like... How do we not know that, Oh, hang on. Is there anything in here? I guess I'm just gonna present the contract.
Objection!
Nope. That wasn't it. I know, which adds to the, like, obviously I'm not gonna... It disappeared, like magic. I thought I saw an inconsistency a second ago. It disappeared, like magic. The murder occurred during a magic show, so crazy things like this are bound to happen. I mean, because a thing that happens in these games that's unavoidable is that you'll have some piece of evidence and you'll go, I could end the trial just by showing this as soon as we walk in the door, right? Just go, here's the thing, and it's like, oh no, you have to wait until the character realizes that that's relevant and finds the right time to present it. But the fact that it's always hovering there is annoying. And I mean, sometimes they avoid that by having you not get the evidence until later, or having it not, you know, it's obviously not clear until it's combined with some other piece of knowledge. But here, yeah, to go, like, we have in our possession a clipboard with a false back, you know, a false compartment where we can show that this contract that he had her sign, she didn't really sign it. She signed something else, and through carbon paper, her signature was put onto the other contract. But we're not going to bring it up. He's right here in court, and it does make him a part, but we've got to go step by step. I can make this penalty disappear. Load save state. Alright, so now I'm not sure, so I am going to press on everything. We'll see if another piece of information pops up. Really? I've never heard anybody say that. It's common knowledge in the TV world. You got any idea what a snooze cruise would be to watch a magic show with no editing? A magic show like that one, anyway. That was ice cold. Anyway, editing is what makes TV worth watching. Are you you saying you thought there were boring scenes in Ms. Wright's magic show? You gotta ask, that script and presentation deserve a place on the cutting room floor. Broadcasting that mess as is would have been a complete disaster. It's much better with 3 seconds removed. That's why I had to edit the footage. It's just what a TV man does. What didn't you like about the show exactly? The whole thing. It was a major snooze fest. Maybe common folk like you don't get it. But a show's only as good as how loud, flashy, and trashy it is. It was plenty loud and flashy on its own. All you did was add the trash. I suppose each industry has its own way of doing things, just as we in the legal profession focus exclusively on evidence and testimony. Exactly, whether it's showbiz or the legal biz, we gotta do what we gotta do to get the job done. Anyway, editing footage is just a matter of course in the TV industry.
Hold it!
It wasn't done maliciously, huh? But I get the distinct impression that you bear feelings of ill will toward Troop Grammari. Huh? What makes you think that? The things that you yourself have said. I know it because of your words, dear sir. You'll see. I'll dig up the dirt and expose the dark heart behind that sweet smile. I'll prove those Grammari magicians are all a bunch of lowlifes. And I also get the impression you've felt this way for a long time. Objection, hearsay. Words such as those can be interpreted in many different ways. For example, though I'd bear the defense no ill will, I would not hesitate to say that he is a good-for-nothing lout of a lawyer. You bear me no ill will. Could have fooled me. They had to edit it so the judges seemed shocked at entirely ordinary events, so they could cut to commercial. Make cuts to find space to put confessionals that were recorded after the fact. Exactly. I'm so glad I don't watch TV. And yet it is the truth. I am only strict on you, as it seems you have strayed from the path. If you have any objections, Mr. Justice, please make your case with evidence in the future. Mr. Ratens, please continue your testimony. I should save again.
Hold it!
Of all the scenes you could have cut, why the sword switching trick? That seems like too much of a coincidence to me. This is, like I said, all 4 of these are saying editing exists, and the other our 4 presses are saying that seems like too much of a coincidence. Oh, so now you're going to tell me how I'm supposed to edit my programs, Big Shot? It's hard being the boss, kid. You gotta make the tough choices, like which content gets cut. Then let me ask you this. Why exactly did you make such a tough choice in this case? You wouldn't understand, champ. It's all about artistic vision. I tell you, people tell you how to do your job when they don't know the first thing about it. It's like when He-10 Style tells the people who made the Phoenix Wright games how they should have translated them. I may not know TV, but I know evidence law, and boy do I have some for you, champ. I might not be able to show that your selective editing was intentional. However, I know you Where did this come from? Hold on. Okay. I know you bear the defendant ill will, and this is the evidence that proves it. So there was a thing hidden inside one of the presses. Which one of the... The fact that he... I mean... This like by the game logic, it seems like this could be it. The fact that he's the one who wrote the prank plan script, and that shows the. But I don't know. I mean, there's this, But I also don't know if it's the right time. There's this, but this just shows that he has an incentive to have the show not get aired, or, you know, not go through. You bear the defendant ill will. I don't think it's going to be the clipboard yet. The clipboard's going to be used for a very specific question later on.
Take that!
Nope. Nope. That thing? What could that possibly prove? But take a good look right here. Wouldn't you agree that it puts you in a bad light? Okay. Oh, if I could be a bad boy myself. But bad lawyers get penalties for consent to bad. Okay. Beep a deep a deep a deep a deep a deep beep beep. Okay. I'm ready, coach. Put me back in. Footage is meant to be added during space. So there's this one that says he had an ulterior motive for editing the footage, and the other one is I can prove that you bear the defendant ill will. The fact that a thing appears inside of here means there is an answer to it. But I might not have it yet. It might be that I'm going to present evidence on the 5th statement, and based on that, we're going to get a new piece of evidence, and then we'll redo his testimony, and I'll present it at number 4. But I think it is just... See, so much of this I end up metagaming. Like, when somebody says, you got some proof that I had no... It's like, that. I want to do it. I want to do it to this statement. Because that's how people word statements that are meant to be contradicted in these games. But also, when he... They didn't even give me a choice when I went through here. When I got to that point, he just immediately said, "I have proof of that." So it's got to be. It's in here. The judge walks down from his seat, pulls the attorney's badge right off your chest. You get tackled by the bailiff. So what did I do last time? I did the prank plan script. We'll do this instead.
Take that!
That's not it. Oh, it is it. This is the contract you had Ms. Wright sign just before the magic show. But the music is still going. Am I still going to lose a life for this? This contract between the first party, Take-Two TV, and the second party, Ms. Wright, reads... If, through the fault of the second party, the show must be canceled in part or in full, the second party will pay $3 million as compensation to the first party. $3 million? That's a completely unreasonable sum. I couldn't agree more, and of course, Ms. Wright doesn't have that kind of money. Nevertheless, Roger Ratens had her sign this unreasonable contract anyway. Or more accurately, he conned her into signing it. Yeah, we jumped way ahead. I was like, this isn't going to come into play until much later when they're like, here is a signature, here is another signature. Why did these signatures look the same? Doesn't that mean objection? Conned? How did he get her to do that? There's a trick to the clipboard that was used by Ms. Wright to sign her contract. It houses carbon paper that can secretly copy her signature onto other documents. Yeah, but that's way too much lawyer stuff to actually appear in a game about lawyers. Oh, come on now, that's quite a nasty accusation you're slinging my way. For starters, you don't have any proof I had anything to do with that carbon paper stuff. Just because Trucy and her agent can't pay up, that doesn't mean I conned her. But $3 million, that's totally out of reach for the average person. In any case, this is important new information. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Ratens. Where's your proof linking me to that tricked-out clipboard?
Hold it!
This clipboard is yours, though, isn't it, Mr. Ratens? Well, it belongs to the TV station anyway, that much I know. Maybe it was an old prop from one of our TV shows that got used by mistake. Or maybe you used it on purpose to con Ms. Wright. Mr. Ratens has already stated that he did not. Mr. Justice, please do not use this trial to try to get out of paying your agency's debt. That's not what I'm doing. Proof Mr. Ratens is connected to the carbon paper, huh? If Trucy's signature was copied onto the fake contract, then there must be an original contract that Trucy actually did sign. True, but I bet Ratens is too savvy to leave something like that behind as evidence. But what if her signature was copied onto more than just a fake contract? Like a third document with Trucy's signature on it? You would need 2 pieces of carbon paper for that to work. What are you guys whispering about? Let me continue my testimony. So they want me to use the other thing with her signature on it. We got too many papers. This one.
Objection!
Good. Even though this also doesn't really quite answer the question. We have no... This doesn't link him. This doesn't link him to the clipboard trick. You must be quite the con man if you think you can fool a You must be quite the con man if you can fool a magician with a simple trick. But if you think you can con a lawyer, you're very much mistaken. Hey kid, would it kill you to enunciate? He's calling me out. He's calling me out, and he even caught me on camera. He caught me on camera saying something wrong. You know, like a newscaster. I'd like you to take a look at Ms. Wright's signature here on this note. Now let's compare that signature to the one here on this contract. Well, would you look at that? They're exactly the same. That's right, Your Honor. Not just similar, but exactly the same. Nobody can sign their way in exactly the same way twice, unless it's a copy. These signatures are proof positive that you conned Ms. Wright, even though they're not. And they definitely prove your malicious intent. Say, not bad, lawyer guy. Didn't know you had it in you. This is really getting interesting now. It'll get great ratings for sure. Identical. Don't try to dodge the issue, Mr. Ratens. The fact is that you bear ill will against my client. So the show footage was definitely edited with malicious intentions. Isn't that right? What a forced argument, defense. All you have really proven is not his ill will toward Ms. Wright, but his pecuniary greed. That's right. I just wanted money, baby. Fat stacks of cheddar, that's all. After all, I'd never even crossed paths with Trucy before this magic show, so I'd have absolutely no reason to bear her any ill will, right? You didn't bear her any ill will, huh? Fat chance. This guy definitely has some major hate for Trucy. Just look at these flashbacks. It's not even a different flashback. It's the same one. I can't prove it with anything, but the things he's said all point to that fact. There must be something between the two of them that gave birth to this grudge. Some sort of connection that not even Trucy is aware of. Your Honor, I'd like to argue that Roger Ratens and Trucy Wright must have crossed paths before. There must be some hidden connection between them. Hidden connection? What is it now? Just what are you getting at, Mr. Justice? It is futile to even ask, Your Honor. Surely, it is just another one of the defense's feckless claims.
Objection!
Yeah, I frauded, and I did it for money, too. That's definitely happened in a couple cases before. Somebody's been up there and has been like, yeah, okay, there's somebody who, like, admitted to wiretapping. There's someone who admitted to, like, stealing. Every single person is admitted to lying on the stand. And it was like, oh, well, yes. But set that aside for the moment. I feck all of my claims. None of them are feckless. You don't seem to have a very high opinion of me, but once you hear my argument, you'll wish you'd taken me a whole lot more seriously. Will I really? Very well then, do proceed. Did you figure something out, Apollo? Nope, not a thing. What? That was just some good old-fashioned bluffing, courtesy of Mr. Wright's fine training. I hope you know what you're doing. If you're going to make such a bold claim, Mr. Justice, I hope you're ready to elaborate. What is this hidden connection? Oh, he's a magician too. That sleight of hand trick Mr. Reedens did during the recess earlier. Filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Do you want me to get the bailiff? Huh, filming? What are you talking about? I don't even have a camera on me. What if Mr. Reedens is a magician too? What if? I believe it's up to the defense to fill in the blanks, not me. Well, if he is, he may have had some contact with Ms. Wright somewhere along the way. Your argument is hardly worth responding to, but by all means, please do continue. As a passage in the sacred scriptures of Kurainism states, he who gives a sermon to a monkey is himself a monkey. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you say to a dimwit, he isn't going to get it anyway. But we saw Mr. Ratens perform a magic trick. That makes him guilty. He made his video camera disappear in the blink of an eye. Well, I think it would be pretty funny if I were a magician. You must have been seeing things. Want me to introduce you to a good eye doctor? If a connection as tenuous as that is all it takes, then every magician in the country could potentially bear ill will toward the accused. I guess you're right. You're not the sharpest knife in the drawer, are you, short stuff? You would do well to cleanse that putrid mind of yours in the holy waters of Mount Poniponi. 3 days under a frigid waterfall, and even you should rise to the level of a monkey. A numbskull for a numbskull. Erg. Well, this numbskull has thick skin, so there. I think I get what they're driving at. Even if he is a magician, it's not exactly a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy, is it? I know, but it was multiple choice, and that was the best one. Hold on, I can think of one person. One magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy. Or rather, one magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Troop Grammari. No way! Is something wrong, Mr. Justice? Your Honor, the defense wishes to submit evidence at this time. I see. And what sort of evidence do you have for us? Evidence that points to the real killer, the one who had a motive to commit this crime. What? And what have you come up with this time, defense? Trucy Wright is the sole heir to Troop Grammari and its name. This puts her square in the crosshairs of one particular magician. And this piece of evidence points to that one person with a grudge against Ms. Wright. It's the poster, yes.
Take that!
And who exactly are you naming, Mr. Justice? 13 years ago, the great Mysterious belonged to Troop Grammari. But then the troop ousted him, and Mysterious vowed to get revenge on them someday. And what better way to accomplish that than through the ruination of their sole heir? But Mysterious is the victim, Mr. Justice. You have named a dead man as your suspect. But is he really dead? What do you mean, is he really dead? If the fact that Mysterious is the victim is what's throwing you off, then how about we consider this possibility? What if the man who died on that stage yesterday wasn't Mysterious? You're right. We didn't perform an autopsy to find out who the fuck what's going on. What's the deal? You mean the victim was an imposter? Not Mysterious? Then what about the real Mysterious? It would mean the real Mysterious is still alive. That's absurd. He had a twin brother! Oh, is that gonna be it? Is that gonna be it? That he has a twin brother? Mr. Justice, who is the real Mysterious, if not the victim of this case? I'm just gonna... It's all coming together now. It's whoever seems the most guilty. I finally see the gimmick, the trick to this entire case. This should explain everything, Your Honor. The real killer. The one who hated Troop Grammari and wanted to sully its name. The magician lurking in the shadows who set up a fake Mysterious in his stead. The judge! The judge is Mysterious. He has amnesia.
Take that!
But that's... Yes. Yes, it is. Roger Ratings is the real Mysterious. What? Him?
Objection!
Oh, hollow red pepper, your impotent seeds sprout nought but meaningless, empty words. You can't possibly have proof to support such an outlandish theory. It's not a bad idea for a soap opera, but not even die-hard fans of the genre would stick around past the pilot. You want proof? Well, I've got proof. I can prove it by... proving that the Mysterious in yesterday's magic show was a fake. Can I? He's got the wrong thing or something? Oh, he doesn't have a scar. He doesn't have a scar. I forgot all about the scar. And to do that, I just need you to look at this spot on this poster.
Take that!
This is the injury Mr. Rhea sustained while practicing a magic trick 13 years ago. However, the video the victim shot of himself shows no trace of that injury. Oh my, you're absolutely right. Now, Mr. Ratons, what do you suppose we'd find if we take a look at your right forearm? Is there by chance a nasty 13-year-old scar under that sleeve of yours? Well, Mr. Ratons, why don't you roll up your sleeve and let the court have a look? Or are you hiding something else up there? Come on now, I've nothing up my sleeve. I don't need to hide anything up there, because I require no tricks or gimmicks. For you see, my magic is the real deal. Is this what you were hoping to see? Oh, there it is, the scar. Just as I thought. That's right. I am the forgotten magician, abandoned to the dark understage of history. The great Mysterious. They're illusions, Michael. This is totally absurd. And he's gonna be like, yes, he's not breaking down yet because he's like, yeah, of course I left the magic industry, became a huge ratings guy, and then staged a prank on her that turned out to somebody who looked like me and was supposed to be posing as me, was supposed to turn up dead as a prank, but actually he really did die, but I didn't do it. I'm the least suspicious person here. How ironic, wouldn't you say, that this odious mark carved into me by Troop Grammari would bring me back into the limelight once more. Strange are the karmic threads before me. If the witness is the real Mysterious, then who is the victim who perished in the magic show? Oh, his name was Tim. Vic Tim. He was but a fan. I met him on one of my programs several years ago. He said he had become a magician out of admiration for the great Mysterious. In confidence, I told him my true identity, and let him take on my mantle. And when did this man take over for you? About 2 years ago. I taught him my tricks, and even acted as his producer. And so a mere amateur became a popular magician overnight, courtesy of my magic, on the stage we call television. I missed that. I don't even have an arm. Frantically sawing arm off. Hope you enjoyed the show. You really had us all fooled. Mr. Ratons, or should I say Mysterious, in your hatred of Troop Grammari, you killed the victim, Mr. Mystery, and then set up Ms. Wright to take the fall, didn't you? You did it all just to tarnish the Grammari name. Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, lad. I set up the prank, that much is true, but it was simply a harmless joke on Trucy. Just a goof, a ruse. Yet she learned of the plan and made use of it to commit murder. Of course she did. That is how strongly the criminal element runs in the blood of these Grammaris. But if it was a secret prank plan that very few people knew about, couldn't you have been the one to use it for murder instead? His head! Times 0. What the heck was that? Heed my words, lawyer lad, for I fear your grip on reality is slipping. I do believe I told you that my magic is real. It employs neither tricks nor gimmicks. Just a harmless little manslaughter, you know. Enough with the ambiguity. Why don't you make your point already? My alibi is as pristine as ever. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Sudmati? Yes, I suppose that is correct. The witness does have a solid alibi. What? Recall, defense, that at the time of the magic show, Mr. Ratons was at Take-Two TV. A fact that many people can easily attest to.
I can't do it if you're watching. If you...
Blind Umpire is here with 2,000 objections. Congratulations.
If you're leering at me.
Congratulations on your 2,000th objection. You get a mount. You get an achievement and a mount. And 20 bits! 20 bits, and I hate you, bot. Why? Why? Why didn't you pop up the thing? Bot. Bot, you're the worst. There was supposed to be an adorable Danganronpa character. It's happened once before. It really... Of course. Voltenphase is here to witness it. Why, though? Why didn't it work? Disconnected? My bot isn't even in the chat and hasn't been since, like, 2 hours ago. What happened? Did EverX ban the bot by saying a silly German pun? Is that what happened? I really want to know now. Like, I don't think this is ever... Like, if I'm like, hey, bot... Why is the bot not in the chat? Oh well. My bot's watching another stream. I have AIs to watch streams for me. That's why I have too many streams to watch. I have to send my AI followers out to watch them for me. You can't prove to me that you've ever had a bot. So what do you think, Your Honor? Would you like me to testify on the matter? Yes, I think you'd better. Please tell the court more about your alibi. Very well, then. On with the show. Are you watching Magnifi Grammari? That's not allowed in court. I'm just gonna say it. The time has finally come for my magic to snuff out your precious pedigree. The Grammari line will be no more. My perfect alibi. I was at the TV station at the time of the Penrose performance. I was busy working on another TV program. I could spare no time for the magic show. Do ask my staff if you doubt my claim. And there it is. A simple and perfect alibi. No tricks, no gimmicks. Just the truth. Do you understand now, perhaps? I did not grace the theater with my performance until after the incident. So how could I have committed the murder? His staff did say he was there at the station, so it sure does sound like a rock-solid alibi. But that can't be right. If Mr. Ratons is the killer, he'd had to have been at the theater. There's gotta be a hole somewhere in his story. I assure you there are no holes on Mr. Rias's stage. No tricks, no gimmicks. True magic doesn't need trapdoors to escape through. Oh, he died and had somebody channel his spirit. That's how he got over there. He didn't use any tricks or gimmicks. He just knows a spirit medium. Magic is not real, but that is. Do enjoy my show to the fullest and my real alibi. The statue was a clock. The thinker. Do we have... What haven't we used? We haven't used this. This is going to be the final thing. I guess. He took a rope way to get over there.
Hold it!
What was the other TV program called? What was this other TV show you were working on? My own special project, you see? One moment. Perhaps this is more appropriate. It's the Ratings Raja special production. Yeah, hang loose, baby. It's called Desperation Regeneration. He switched personas just to say that? What's the show about? Washed-up has-been singers and comedians get together and play musical chairs. The winner of the game is given a second chance at their career. A priceless prize for chumps who washed up too early in life. Sounds great, right? Might I suggest you appear on that show, Mr. Justice? As the ex-lawyer who used to make ridiculous bluffs in court and faded sadly into obscurity after making records as being the only lawyer to never lose a case in history. You lose one case, and now you fade into obscurity. And let the Ratings Raja produce my TV debut? Not in this lifetime. You have great reactions. Who knows? TV might be your true calling. Hey, whose side are you on? In any case, I was overseeing production of this program during the Penrose performance.
Hold it!
How do we know those staff members aren't in cahoots with you? I make it my business to perform solo. My magic has neither need nor want of assistance. After all, one of them could reveal the secrets behind my magic. Could they not? So he doesn't trust anybody, huh? He's the complete opposite of Trucy. Yet I have to imagine that she's in this game, because they've name-dropped her. Like, Phoenix right now is over in the city where Maya is training. So she's gonna be back. Make sure you continue to tune in. Maya will be back, I'm sure. There were many people there in the studio audience who saw the witness as well. Even if he had been able to persuade his own staff to cover for him, he could not have convinced so many complete strangers to do the same. He really has made a rock-solid alibi for himself. Yeah, it's almost too good, you know? It's eerie how perfect it is. Has it all been revealed to you now?
Hold it!
I've got it. Do you have a brother? A brother that looks exactly like you, maybe. Again with the twins business? You think the audience will let you get away with using the same gimmick twice in a row? If you do not believe him defense, why not investigate for yourself? Though I am sure your efforts will prove to be thoroughly fruitless. Yeah, I guess the twins theory is a little far-fetched. The perfect alibi, huh? It's no good, Apollo. I can't find a hole anywhere. There's gotta be some kind of trick to it.
Hold it!
I didn't press the first one. Let's do it. But you did come to the theater eventually, isn't that right? Indeed, anxious to see how the show was progressing, I made my way to the theater. Let's see. My journey took about 10 minutes by car. Could he actually have been at the theater during those 10 minutes? Killing the victim? Allow me a stab at reading your mind. Aha. Could I have been at the theater during those 10 minutes, killing the victim? How in the... But no. I took a taxi. The driver can attest to that. Feel free to call the taxi company if my word does not satisfy you. The driver is a big fan of the ratings, Raja. I even gave him my card. He gave the driver his card? That was very clever of him. You might as well give it up, lad. Questioning real magic is a fool's errand. Besides, you know very well what I was doing at the time of the incident. How could both of them like ice cream? There, it looks so much like the same goddamn person. His alibi really is... Oh, the solution was just to press on everything. I believe we've heard enough. While I believe the witness does indeed harbor some ill will against the defendant, there is no reason to doubt he was at the TV station at the time of the incident. Yes, the facts prove it was impossible for the witness to have been involved with this crime. Mrg. These last rites for the victim have dragged on long enough. The soul of the victim himself is so bored that it is resting on top of your Honor's head. It is? The time has come. Let us punish the sinner and guide the victim's soul to the Twilight realm. Apollo, Trucy will be thrown in prison, and we'll be out of a job. But if you catch tasty fishies, will you sell me some? That must be a European joke or something. Probably makes sense in Europe. I told you, I have absolutely zero intention of going off on a tuna boat. Think, Justice. You have to figure this out. I missed it. I missed it. What is it, sir? That's why they call it press digitation? I guess I missed it. I missed the joke. It's no use. I can't find a single flaw. So what now? Oh, behold my never-ending magic show. Come for the awe-inspiring show. So I like the fact that if he just doesn't say a single other word right now, then he wins. But he's gonna say something. Come for the awe-inspiring showmanship of the great Mysterious, and stay for my grand illusion until the end of time. Wait, is he saying that we're still trapped inside of some sort of illusion of his? We're still inside the infinite Tsukuyomi. That's what professional magicians do. They make the audience see something that isn't really there. In other words, you make us see illusions, right? We call it misdirection. It's a classic. While we keep you busy believing one thing, we're busy making something else happen. What we say is there really isn't, and what we say isn't there actually is. Oh, because I had to press on every... I get it. I get it now. If you bring fire into the courtroom, the bailiff will tackle you. Could it be? You know what, Mr. Ratons? I guess we have all been spectators to the elaborate illusion you've prepared for us. The genjutsu, if you will. An illusion that has subtly turned our attention towards something you wanted us to see. What are you going on about, lad? Have you got something, Apollo? I just remembered something Trucy said about misdirection. What a magician says is that... Okay, yes, get to it. If we've all been taken for a ride by Mr. Raton's magic, then maybe he's made us see something that wasn't really there. It's time to rethink all of my assumptions about this case. What have we been made to believe was there when it actually wasn't? What have we taken to be the absolute facts of this case? If I reevaluate the validity of all these things, then just maybe... I can't follow the chat. You guys are having so much fun. Somebody said something really funny about D&D. And I don't get it. Athena, there's something uncanny about this case. Okay, what is it? Reeton's alibi. It's too perfect. That's true. It's like it's impossible to break, no matter how hard we try. But maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's exactly what he wants us to think. Nobody is following you. We're not making any headway here because we've been so focused on breaking his alibi. Oh, I think I get it. You're saying he's using misdirection on us, right? It's definitely a possibility. What are you talking about? Would the defense care to share with everyone what it's discussing over there? Your Honor, we believe that if we were to reconsider a certain assumption, we may finally arrive at the truth. Is it going to be the time of death? Is it going to be that he was killed, like, the day before? In fact, I think we'll even finally see who's hiding behind the curtain, so to speak. And what is this certain assumption you're thinking of? Rethinking his guilt. The crime scene. That's incredibly vague. Oh, you know what I think... Okay, I get it. When he fell out of the coffin, he was still alive. He was just faking being dead. And then at that's what the shadow is. He had a loop on his belt that pulled him up and impaled him against, like, the thing on the ceiling, and nobody went and checked up. Like, we went up there, but we didn't check for blood, I guess. Who cares? Alright, so the culprit was not on scene. What if the culprit was somewhere other than the theater at the time of the crime? What if there was some way to commit the murder without actually being there? If that were the case, then Mr. Reeton's perfect alibi would become irrelevant.
Objection.
Alright, so that means we still have a ways to go. Erica did it. She did it inside the locked room. It is after 9. I was thinking that we only had like one more testimony left to wrap it up, but we don't. We're gonna have a little bit more to go. Although this is going to, strangely enough, there isn't going to be another investigation. We're gonna finish this on day 1. So, that is it for today. We will return next Tuesday with more Phoenix Wright. Thank you everybody for being here. No stream tomorrow. Saturday will be The Messenger. We're making our way through that. We probably have several streams left of that to go, if I'm being honest. I did pick up all 3 of the Final Fantasy 13 games along with La Mulana 2, so we have lots of stuff to play in the future. I was worried for a little while about not knowing what I was going to stream, but we've got plenty of games for all of 2020.